we do have in the top left corner our red Zerg player from Dragon Kaiser. Dragon Kaiser showdown here even in the semi-finals. This is Dark. Taking on the blue Protoss in the bottom right corner of the map. Obviously his teammate. This is herO as we enter game number 1 of this best of 5 against semi-finals. So herO spawned straight into the semi-finals. First place in his group 6 and won $300 won going into the playoffs. Obviously already guaranteed top 4. So going into this, herO's already guaranteed $900. By the way, that's the awesome part about our prize pool. Dark going in guaranteed $850, but you win this series and it's a $600 prize pool boost guaranteed. Plus, you get to try and double on that tomorrow in the grand finals. Big match, big games, lots of prize money on the line. $2,500 for first place. These guys are right now guaranteed top 4 and looking to break into the finals. And you get a bet? Yes, absolutely. The FPS will just drop for a moment while I tab out to set this up, guys. Just bear with me on that. Just because someone's bound to say, is the stream lagging? No, it's just when you tab out, the FPS drops. Nope. Hang on, I just opened the wrong thing. There we go. Trying to get set back up, but I opened the wrong thing. It's not very smart, is it, guys? All right, let's focus up. Let's do some games. Some ZVP. Man, I casted a series between Dark and herO the other day, and herO just looked so freaking good in this matchup. We'll see what Dark can do. Usually Dark likes to be a tricky, sneaky player, but I mean, do you have your work cut out for you when you're playing against herO? Because herO is a tricky, sneaky player. herO will do all sorts of weird and wild kind of things as well, right? So, kind of excited to see where this best of 5 ZVP takes us, and to see whether Dark or herO will be representing Dragon Kaiser in the finals tomorrow against the winner. Again, that bottom half of the bracket fully plays out tomorrow, by the way, so it's going to be Classic versus Creator, the winner versus Scarlet, the winner versus Bjorn, the winner versus Maru, and the winner of that plays the winner of this. Obviously, if Classic or Creator go on the full run, they might be knackered by the time they make the finals, but yeah, that's going to be a tough run no matter what. It's going to be a fun day tomorrow. Very excited to see pretty much all those matches, and especially even the finals as well, as we'll be wrapping up the first season of this WardiTV Korean Royale. Again, how exciting is that? Yeah, we have got Season 2 fully guaranteed for $10,000! Exclamation mark Korea. And check out the Indiegogo link if you want to help crowdfund Season 3 now. As our Adept comes up this ramp, gets a shot off on the hatchery, and we'll just be sending that shade back into the main base once again. Queen's still hanging around the Adept, deciding what it would like to do. Not going to go anywhere just yet, and the Overlord still just kind of hanging around overhead. Our third hatchery coming up on the natural expansion here. Just bringing that up, and you see the, again, Link Speed already producing a couple of Queens on the way out from Dark, and the Adept will move back down to the low ground, where, again, immediately just going to see a Queen and a couple of Lings trying to deal with it. Obviously haven't really seen any Protoss play at all today, so gotta turn my brain into Protoss mode, and obviously there's a Stargate opening, so that's going to be pretty kind of standard, slow-going opening, right? You get the Oracle up, and you just, in general, work forward from there. First Oracle pops out, second Oracle now starting, and the Warp Gate is coming up to completion very shortly as well, so just bringing all of this through for the moment. As you do see, our gateway is about halfway done from herO as well. So again, that gateway online, the Nexus now beginning from herO on a third base. With the Oracles, you can generally defend that third base, so that's the reason you can feel as though you can take it already. And a couple of Queens coming up. Just going to whack away at the Oracle too, so Oracle will take a little bit more damage. Actually, Queens on both sides will be able to whack away at the Oracle, so doing a very good job of that as we make our way through. We get rid of a little bit of lava there. And just seeing those couple Warp Gates coming up as well. As a couple of drones are going to make their way through as well, make it 3 drones right now. It's just going to pick through that. And yeah, 16 Zerglings continue to produce, Twilight Council and the Forge all on the way up as well. The Nexus being brought in, the Baneling Nest is producing. And it's a whole bunch of extra Lings also as we try to get the Oracle kill there. The Queen's working through that. The Oracle actually ends up taking a reasonable amount of damage to start off with, and now the Ling's going to run down. The Probe getting chased around, a couple of Adepts there to push the Lings back, and we do see these Zerglings deciding to pull all the way back up the right side. Queen's Arm beginning or continuing to make their way over to the other side. And this is what we talk about, Dark being an aggressor, shorter map Babylon. He's walking his queens across. He's got the banelings coming in to follow up as well. And, well, that baneling nest is going to be finishing. The lings are going to be all on the way. And on we go, right? Ling Bane ready to bust on through. The queen's coming with this as we try and run up the ramp, but there's going to be oracles there. Lings would like to try and get a wrap around, but currently unable to. Now they're going to go for this. I mean, the first battery dies pretty quickly on this forward location. The cannon finishes. There's a battery in the back, actually, so one battery still doing some healing. The banelings will help to bust through this. Can herO actually defend? Does he have enough stuff? The Adepts wanting to survive through this round of the Banes. Banes crashing through everything. The Adepts, 4 of them survive to the high ground. Well, the third base is going to go down. That has to be given up by herO. There's pretty much just no choice on that one. And Dark's still only on 33 drones, so herO is fine if he just even lives on 2 bases for a while. Dark will begin to drone, but I mean, in general, Dark's position isn't exactly brilliant. Like, yeah, you denied the 3rd base, but your own economy is barely 3 base economy. So herO coming out of this might just be able to rebuild back up. So thank you so much. I can't actually read that from here, but whoever checked out the puzzles and survival, I appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. There's our oracles. Gonna come through for a whole bunch of counter damage, and there's no queens here because the queen's still walking home, so the oracles can dive through the spore crawler for 8 drone kills. Just as Dark tries to get some economy set up, a whole bunch of it gets denied, in fact. And that is really nicely done, actually. So that part is well done as our lair continues. Our extra drones coming up. Again, Dark's tech is slow in this game, and herO now has charge, so he will have zealots to help him fight and to protect this 3rd base, as the oracles will also be active here to help fend off the zerglings. And that's the problem. Dark doesn't really have anything meaningful. I mean, the lings obviously can, you know, get rid of this base, but the oracles can just activate and fight back and pretty much get free pickoffs all the way throughout this. Shield battery drops onto the 3rd as well. We will see our Robo Bay coming up. Our Nexus is still producing. 2 more sentries will finish up, and again the Warp Prism about to complete too. Scan that prism finished. Robo Bay coming in, Temple Archive still setting up as well. So far, so good. Sentry lifts, sentry drops, Zealots and Adepts moving forward. A couple of sentries will nibble their way through this Morphine Overseer as it just backs away off down to the bottom side. And again, a couple of sentries just continue to nibble through. We work our way over to the left. They will warp in 4 more High Templar, a few more Zealots, the Disruptor as well. The Archons begin to morph, and we do have, well, a little bit of action on the right still. These Lings trying to get through. These Archons are morphing way too far forward, and so we lose one of them immediately. And Dark will be able to push that back, so herO not going to be feeling comfortable enough to continue for now. So herO is held off a little bit, and Dark surviving despite having basically unupgraded roaches as the entirety of his defense. So Dark pulling off something of a miracle for the moment. Not dying yet, as that early attack, again, it was good. It was just, all it did was really kill a base. Like, it was good, but like, was it good enough for the investment made? I still don't really think it was. herO, though, taking a 4th now. Disruptors popping up, still moving into further upgrades. Prism Feed and +2 attack, but there goes the Prism! Archon and a couple of Zealots inside get knocked down, and what a catch that is as Dark removes one of the major threats on the map. And suddenly a new Prism has to be made. Some of the tech with the Archon going down is going to be lost. And constantly lost the other Archon that was morphing. That's 2 Archons that just never really did anything. Disruptors moving around. Roaches and Ravagers will be trying to knock down this set of rocks as well. Zealots hanging out just up this ramp as we see a couple stasis wards being set off by the changelings. That's really heckin' cool, because now you've got yourself a chance to come up this ramp and actually not have to deal with the stasis wards. That was a great way to deal with the stasis. That was actually incredible. And now we continue forward. I mean, we've dodged the first disruptor shot decently. We're trying to deal with the second potential one as we move on top of this base. herO just does not have a lot of army supply. He's got to rely on his tech units. Remember, a lot of those are being killed off throughout this game. A few more Corrosive Vials. Oracles still active overhead. The Queen's working through those Oracles, picking away at every single one. I think herO's defenses are falling short right now, guys. There's a couple more Zealots getting nuked down by Bowers. The Sentry getting taken out as well. And there's one more Disruptor shot fires. The Roaches want to get, continue to get in the middle of all of this. That's going to be really just too much from Dark, I think. And I genuinely believe hero's dead here. Which is, again, kind of incredible, no? Felt like he had such a good setup on this game. Well, I mean, don't say it's over till it's over, but 20 probes down. herO is now holding onto that right side base as his opportunity, a way to survive. Another Disruptor shot going after a few Roaches, a couple more Zealots, and Adepts continue to go down. Roaches coming through again. The Zealots will charge in on either side, and I mean, the Roaches just a little slow to work their way through the Zealot counter. That's what Zealots are good at, right? Surviving for a long time and all of that, and just going to be seen here. A couple of Roaches and a Ravager getting picked. Going to re-engage to the right once again. We're actually going to catch this one Disruptor on the ramp there. It's just going to take that down again, plus 2 missiles. The Roaches all still producing. And the Roaches are going to go straight on after that assimilator again. So just go straight through. Knock down that. And we're keeping herO to 3 bases. hero's doing the right thing, surviving on what he can and just trying to get enough tech on the map to really overwhelm this Dark army. Dark's army is not great when you kind of really consider what it is. It's just Roach Ravager. And just Roach Ravager shouldn't fare well against a teched up Protoss force, and that's what hero's aiming to get. The problem is he's not really ever gotten there. He's trying to get there now, and we do see Dark still trying to press the issue. He would love to stop herO from getting more Disruptors on the field, stop the Archon count ever building up. He kind of fight out over on this side decently. There was a little bit of a chase up over here, but Dark had enough to fend that off. And honestly feels as though that... well, I think we just have enough stuff, no? Right? I mean, herO is kind of holding on for a few moments, but eventually Dark's going to have more reinforcements, and I just don't see how with more reinforcements herO really keeps on keeping on, because Disruptor shots are going to be on cooldown. The Super Battery is actually activated, but depowered almost instantly after. Now you're going to have to micro these Archons around, which means your Disruptors are going to be more exposed, which means even an easier time picking those off, perhaps. Some Zealots from the side. Disruptor shot from the side has to dodge from killing his own Zealots. herO continuously trying to survive. I just don't believe he really has what he needs to do it, and one Archon, one Disruptor get evacuated. Losing this base is pretty much lights out for herO. There should be no way he can continue to survive with this base not operational any longer. This is looking like we're heading toward our GG's for game number 1. What a game by Dark, because I really do not think he did enough with that initial attack, and it really felt like it was a lot of the, the afterwards that kind of really put Dark back into a lead in this game and gave him the option to do this. Again, just finding a way to trade out and stop herO ever massing up too much of the tech. Still pushing into this natural might be too much of an ass. Obviously, pushing into a very defensive position with, once again, just Roach Ravager. It's not the best army composition you've ever seen. And obviously, herO comes down. I mean, herO knows he can't really stick this out. GG's called, and Dark will win game 1 of our series. So Dark gets the 1-0 advantage. Jump into the top right corner of the map with the player who is down a map, even though it felt like it started off so well for them. Blue Protoss herO. The bottom left with the lead on the series, a red Zerg. Dark. Try and make the grand finals. Had an up and down group stage. At one point Dark was like 1 and 2, but then really brought it back. Dark finished, no. He must have been like 1 and 1 initially. Finished 5 and 2, and he lost against Maro on the last match day, right? No, he beat Maro. Yeah, he was 1 and 2. Dark initially lost out to Kareda, and he lost to Gumiho. Yeah, he was 1 and 2. I was gonna say he was definitely 1 and 2 at some point. It turns it around from 1 and 2, won 4 in a row, including against Maro to set up into second place of the group, and obviously just 3-0'd Ragnarok to move into the top 4, take on the first place finisher of Group B, which is going to be herO, who is, of course, now down a map. Dark, our runner-up of the WardiTV Winter Championship, doing well in the WardiTV circuit so far this year. This event will provide some points toward the WardiTV 2023, some points towards the WardiTV 2023 circuit. And that includes qualification potentially into the WardiTV Spring Championship, So, a lot to be earned there, a lot to be gained there. Are these events worth EPT points? No. Getting EPT points is a... Well, I've not really looked into it recently, if I'm going to be completely honest, but generally, getting EPT points seems like a bit of a long, arduous process, and requires a lot of certain things to be followed, and, you know, requires you to do certain things, and, you know, probably have more of an official rulebook that I don't have, and stuff like that, and have to run qualifiers in a certain way. That's just something that I'm not super interested in, honestly. It's a lot more work than what it's worth. I mean, maybe if they were worth EPT points, they would be a bit more viewed, but I said this recently, and will stand by it, that I don't really... It may sound a bit weird or a bit like of a weird take, but I don't really feel like these sort of events should award EPT points, and I would hate to feel like players feel like they have to play in my tournaments just because they give out EPT points, because I don't necessarily think they're the kind of thing that should be rewarded in qualification into a world championship, you know? So that's my own personal view. Like, I would just hate to feel as though certain players were playing my events because they felt forced into it. I want players to play in my events because they feel like it's a good deal, it's a bit of fun, or some good practice, or whatever reason. The last thing I want them to do is to feel forced into playing it, you know? Does the organizer get anything extra from having EPT points? No. I mean, what... I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess the only thing you could really get is, like, monetary support, but that just doesn't exist. Like, maybe you would get some tweets from, like, the ESL SE2 account or something. Things wrap around. A couple of adepts. One will go down, the other shades away. And his Ling's going to wrap around again as a probe, adept, stalker. Taking a few shots of damage. The TLDR running an EPT event is just extra work and then not... I mean, the benefit is that it's a bigger draw to players, but like I said, I just don't necessarily think it makes a difference for us, / we need it. Anyways, 2 oracles come out. I've not told much about the game because it's pretty standard. A couple drones go down early. We got 3 drones, in fact. Kind of a cool swift move going down the bottom side. Couple of adepts just going to be finishing the lair is on the way out. Forge, Twilight Council, all being built. Just going to be seeing the follow-up here from herO, triple Oracle into just probably Blinken +1. Forge, Twilight, both finishing. A few extra probes coming out, and this Oracle going to drop a Revelation down as we knock down a few creep tumors, so it's opening up a little bit of space over there. So far, so good as Queen comes through. The couple of adepts get chased away. And the Ling's going to come running in to try and wrap around and just try and make a bit of a difference on this fight. Chasing the adepts out. Dark defending pretty nicely so far. There is the +1. There is the blink from herO as he gets himself set up to play into the mid-game here. And see, with +1 and blink, there's generally a good amount you can do. There's a few adepts shade away. The Oracle trying to stay out of reach of the Queens. And Dark gonna drop a Nidus network, so Dark is kind of just in killer mode, man. He is not wasting time. He is not messing around. He's gonna get real aggressive here as a couple of Queens pull over to the sides. And Nidus really is gonna be pretty aggressive. Dark was using this the other day against, well... I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you won a game against Skillus with it, and Skillus deterrents with the raid. Hello everyone, welcome. I was against Skillus and trying to think what other ZVPs Dark played that I casted. That he just Nidus'd a final game of a series, and it was a very quick affair. I think my brain's failing me. Anyways, I mean, it's just a very dark thing to do, this Nidus sort of build. And, well... Stasis Sword is going to come down. Just going to drop that into place here. Queens, Lings, Roaches, Ravagers. All going to press forward. The first Stasis Sword goes off, and in we go. Ling's going to start wrapping around. Corrosive Biles. Going to land for a couple of Stalkers immediately. There is obviously got to find kind of a defense here. It's hard because his Stalkers are pushed into the natural wall. So he's got to kind of come through the wall off to be able to actually, you know, be able to stand up strong to fight against this, which is not, you know, more easily said than done. As the wall goes down, though, the Lings are going to get the chance to float on through as well, and this is where herO might really start to struggle, as, honestly, Dark right now is looking pretty great to take perhaps a 2-0 lead on the day. More Lings floating through, the Stalkers getting surrounded initially, Cybernetics Core already dropping down, boom, a couple of Biles and a Stalker will drop, and now a Ling Ravager is going to run into the natural expansion. Well, can we hold here? Is this going to be enough? Corrosive Biles coating the batteries, taking away that healing. There's very little on the third base. 2 Stalkers. There's not really going to be much of a defense, in all honesty. That is not looking ideal. More Biles, and the Nectar's still getting picked away at. We do see this army of Dark back over to the right. And just going to start to knock down the pylon and the Nexus and everything. A few more Stalkers going to move out once again, so forward we go as we start to continue fighting against this. I mean, at this point the probes are dropping, though, and I just don't think there's enough from here to really stop Dark's army and to really force Dark to kind of turn away and to do other things. So herO is genuinely in a whole spot of trouble. I mean, 1-1 is nice, but upgrades only matter so much, and there's a certain point where there's just not enough units for the upgrades to make a difference. That said, maybe if herO lasts a little bit longer, I mean, he's going to lose the third. He's got a fourth in the bottom right, which I'd be amazed if Dark doesn't figure out sooner rather than later, but I suppose we can wait and see. Doesn't exactly feel ideal, does it? Nidus Network goes down, Stalkers continuing through, Roach goes down, Overlords are being dropped, and we will get rid of the Nidus, and this is actually going to be a hold from herO. So, here's the thing. If herO can, you know, well, he's held for now. If herO can keep this going, what happens is he has a good set of tech. He's got good upgrades on his units. He can reset onto a third base. Obviously, he does have that bottom right base that's a little bit exposed. I wouldn't love to send my workers there, but I guess we don't really have much of an option right now. Is this doable for herO? God, I don't know. I mean, it feels like this was never holdable, but he's held now, and like I say, he's got a little bit of the upgrades to help him out in some of these future trades. He's got the Stalkers as well. Efficiency is going to be absolutely key. You're going to need that to really see success, you know, in this next little while. So, kind of interested as to where we're going to go. Stalkers hanging out that right-hand side. We do have the +2/+2 upgrades on the way, but Dog getting all of his tech as well, by the way. Just getting so much coming up with the Hive and the Hydra Den. All of this coming up right here. Knocking down an Overlord to begin with. We do just settle things down for a little bit. I was like, did we just lose game sound? The music just stopped at the same time. We cut away from stuff happening. I was like, oh my god, what just happened? I felt like everything just broke there. I was like, ah, panic mode. Ravagers and Infester, feelings joining up, and we do have this Force of Dark just settling down. That bottom left-hand side, Stalker's coming forward, and Overlord already taking some shots. It's going to get knocked down there. Dark supply block coming out of this. Our Lurker Den on its way through. Slings and Ravagers trying to open up a set of rocks. Trying to make a little bit of a gap at the moment. Knock those down, open up the map. Both players are maxed. Well, I will say that herO's army is still not exactly ideal. It's very gateway heavy. And especially with Lurkers coming onto the field and Infestors being out, there's just the tools from Dark to knock down, the power of a gateway-only force, right? So while it's mostly Roach Ravager, the supporting Spellcasters and the soon-to-be supporting Lurkers should really go a long way to enable, Dark to be able to actually trade against these forces and to have a much better time. So definitely expecting that to be something of a factor sooner rather than later. Ravagers, Roaches, Infestors coming around this right side. The Zealots and the Stalkers and the Sentries coming through. We'll blink forward and a few of the Ravagers getting picked away at. Big fungal growths, that's what I'm talking about. You take away the ability of those Stalkers to blink, and I feel like blinking forward into fungals is pretty darn nasty. First Ravager comes up. It's another big fungal, actually, as you see a couple of Zealots getting caught there. And that's going to be a chunky unit being forced away. We are going to see the base on the bottom side, the 6 o'clock, being denied. More fungals going down. We do see the Zealots continuing to chase forward. Chasing on in, trying to get to these Ravagers, these Infestors. More Corrosive Bowels dropping down. It feels like Dark's going to defend. I mean, Lurkers are out. That's just not really an army you're meant to attack into as herO, but obviously herO feels the need to be aggressive. And so is exactly that. He's aggressive. He tries to fight in. He tries to make the, things happen for himself, but it just ain't happening. And now Dark looks like he should have enough to swarm across this map and to close out this game number 2. Nidus in the main base will be denied. So we're just going to knock that down quickly. And yeah, I mean, Dark is just absolutely dominant here. I mean, herO is just, he just doesn't have the army, right? Like, the thing is, all the tech is just missing. It's like gateway units upon gateway units, and he's playing gateway units into everything you can't really play gateway units into. The Infestors initially, now the Lurkers. It doesn't matter how much of a surround you set up here, herO. You're going to melt to this force. I don't care about your upgrades or anything. Prism goes down. This was pretty much an F2A click from, preset, surround. But pretty much just bringing everything in at once, and this is going to be this army getting wiped out. Immortal going down, the Stalker's still dropping. I mean, herO just can't build anything good enough. There's also a case of, I think herO came out of that previous, the earlier stage, the earlier hold, and, he came out alive. But how good of a position was he really in at that stage? And I think the answer is not really a great one, especially because he felt like all he could do was build basic gateway units, right? As these Zealots come charging through, we're going to jump on top of a whole bunch of these Lurkers and just try and do what we can. It's not exactly looking great, though. I will leave it at that. It really isn't as... Yes, it looks as though Dark will indeed have the 2-0 lead here in this best of 5. Looking very, very good for Dark today. GG's. The top right-hand corner, not messing around at all. This is our red Zerg from Dragon Kaiser. It is Dark. Up against the blue Protoss in the bottom left-hand corner, have got herO. Replays available for subs for the WardiTV Korean Royale. The replays will be available to players support, or sorry, not players. The supporters on the Indiegogo only, simply because there's a specific crowdfunder for this event. But replays do go out for our other events to subscribers. So if you want, for example, last week we had the Winter Championship, and everything else we cast pretty much does go out to subscribers. So yes. Here, bottom left, Doc upper right, game number 3, and I mean, herO's the one that's just been kind of taking too much damage, falling behind, falling into weird places. Impressive to survive on Ancient System, but definitely wasn't in a great place. As we get set to go. Hatchery going down at the front here. And that started off. Yeah, spawning pool coming up. Hatch coming in. A lot of this just coming into play for the moment. I'll drop an assimilator down over on the left-hand side. We do have Cranky today. Maybe he will translate for us quickly. Doc has like a little sad face basically, so whatever herO says, Doc is sad for him. Thanks for the tip. I see. Is that because the probe ran away with like some minerals, or? Oh, thanks to the handicap, I see. Well, he's still having some fun here. herO keeping some good spirits despite being down 0-2. Well, maybe Doc's just being generous, you know. Oracle's on the way up. We do have a warp gate coming through as well. So just building into all of these wonderful little things. Our warp gate is about halfway done at the moment. And we do see the link speed about to finish up from Doc as well. So let's get that link speed into play, and he can start taking some map control. And I'm kind of wondering what sort of deadliness Doc's going to bring to this series, because he's been just so deadly and really trying to be a bit of a killer throughout so far. I really feel like there's probably going to be something else coming up kind of soon. That kind of continues in that sort of a trend, you know, so I guess we will see as our Oracle heads up to the north. The Deb kind of shot off, Ling taking some damage there. Two drones there, all coming up. The Spore Crawler as well. Adept is going to go down, so it's going to pick that off, and again the Oracle into the upper right-hand corner, try and see if it can make a bit of a difference. You have the Queen still just sat in the corner too, just keeping the Oracle at bay for the moment, though. Oracle sets up defensively. The few Lings trying to run in will not get very far. There is about to finish. The extra drones are all building. Queen is still coming through. Twilight Cancel. Now complete, and it's a complete 180 on builds here from herO. It's going to go for the Resonating Glaives against a Ling Queen Nidus. It's got to be good for you as herO, right? If you get to the point of the Glaives finishing, I suppose. That's the issue, is that Doc could kill you before herO is set up. Right? I think is what it comes down, is that Doc could actually just, you know, end this before it even really begins. So let's see if this Ling Queen Knight is going to be powerful enough. He doesn't have an Overlord in any particularly good position, and the Phoenix is going to start going after these Overlords, so I mean, you've got vision for the majority of your main base. If the Phoenix checks to the left side after, this could be great, unless, I mean, the first Knight is going to come down in the front anyway now, so I guess let's see what happens. Our Ling's kind of streaming through, pulling back a little bit. The extra depths are just going to be finishing this. Phoenix here going to start after this Overlord, so we can just, even just if you deny the Overlords from getting future Niduses up, that's big. First Stasis doesn't do anything, as Doc sets it off with a single Zergling already. The depths just shade back into the natural expansion, just going to play there for the moment. We're moments away from seeing Glaives, which will help a lot here for herO. Obviously, we'll clean through the Adepts, clean through the Lings much more easily. Doc's going for a Baneling Nest, which I don't mind because you kind of need something to help, and yeah, Doc's going to back it up for the moment. Stacking it up. Baneland Nest about to finish. The few extra drones on the way. A couple of overlords all coming out as well. You see our Debs is going to go shading out toward the middle of the map. So away they go. The Oracle's coming through as well. Charge, Templar Archives, Robo Facility. This army comes all the way up to the top. Got rid of one creep tumor already. I mean, this is where the Banelings come into play, as Bane's gonna obviously have a big impact here. We try and split the Adepts. Okay, this isn't gonna be too bad. We take some splash damage, but no Adepts really die. We actually stasis a bunch of the Queens. There are a few more Banelings ready to go. Dark has to evacuate away from his third base here. Here with the supply lead. He's just straight up killing the third. However, there are transfusions available. Queens will start to drop those as the Adepts will be forced to make a decision right now. The Banelings are coming through, and the Banelings are going to find the Adepts all stacked up. The Adepts are going to take some mega damage. They just shade away. They shade into another corner where they're going to fight these Lings, but herO's attack will be halted here. The Banelings getting enough done to stop him dead in his tracks. And that will be that for the moment. Whew. These Adepts will all go down. Again, every single last one. Trying to hide in as much of a corner as possible, get as much value going as you possibly can find. Next, a few Zealots will open in, the Archon coming up. See a Phoenix pinging through an Overlord in the center, and the other Adepts pulling back down toward the Natural as well. Just seeing our Rotron Evo Chamber. Extra drones will producing. Charge also about to finish up next couple of moments. I mean, herO has a decent transition, right? He's getting tech units up, he's getting more Twilight upgrades in play. He's not just stuck on Adepts, he wasn't all in with this counterattack. He's got a good work account as well. herO's still leading this game, but Dark has kept himself alive. Dark has allowed himself to see another few minutes of this. He's just going to make sure this game is not ending just yet, which, you know, right now is pretty much all you can really ask for, because there's absolutely a world where the game just ended there, right? So yeah, Dark going to keep it going. And, I mean, the way that Dark's been playing today, just giving him extra chances in these games, or giving himself a few more minutes in these games, may actually be enough to switch things up, because, yeah, he's been really freaking good so far when it comes to just sort of turning games around. I mean, even the first game of this series, I really felt like he didn't necessarily was meant to be in a lead, but he did a lot because he just stayed alive and then was in the lead and was able to get a lot done and eventually win out. It's going to be seen our Archons and our Zealots continuing through. herO's just going to have too much. Like I said, the transition's a bit too good. I was kind of hopeful for Dark to maybe do something somewhat magical, maybe. That is going to be GG's. And herO is going to take a game in this series. He's not going to let this up yet. A lot on the line, of course, in this match. Even though 2 down, you're going to fight every step of the way. Left-hand corner. Still on match point, but didn't close it out just then. Our blue Zerg is Dark. Up right, it's going to be our Red Protoss player, herO. Alright then, map 4, let's see what we get up to. Let's see what we get going for ourselves. Similar coming up, Gateway on the way. So yeah, Overlord of Dark beginning to move across the map, so away we go with that. A little bit of a journey to begin with. And just seeing our probe again, scouting around in the main base, a little bit of a look around here. I check to see what's going on. It's gonna come around the back, just try to be a little bit annoying, nibbling at a couple of these different mineral lines, so. And just some bits and pieces here, as our hatch gas and pool all sets up. Big map gets the hatchery on the natural location as well, so it doesn't, have to, throw that down on the third base or anything, which is a nice little benefit for Dark, if nothing else. So that's kind of nice, that's kind of neat. And just seeing the, again, hatch, pool, drone, all of that still being brought into play at the moment. cybernetics core will be finishing, and as that completes, we'll see again our Nexus just on the way through. Depth coming up, link speed, couple lings, couple of queens, all producing for the moment, so bringing everything into play. Why are probes annoying? Why wouldn't they be annoying? They nibble at your mineral patches, they force your drones to go to different patches than they were stacked on. Actually, we'll set up on our third base, just get that going. And you see the probe heading up through the center. To the top of the map we go. Ling speed about halfway done. A couple lings on the way out. We do have the adept just going to shade back down to the bottom. Pin just moves up, the adept going to get chased around. We will see the lings just going after the adept, and now Phoenix is about to finish up. The lings, the queen, still coming through. We do see the ling speed is about to finish as well, so got that ling speed completed. A couple of the queens are still being brought into play, and our Phoenix will go nabbing at the Overlord. In the upper side, just gonna pick our way through this. Overlord is going to drop down dead. Next comes back down the bottom left. Just gonna go straight onto the Overlord. So again, a lot being done. We do see the Oracle coming up, the Warp Gate about to complete. No surprise, obviously, with this Phoenix Open. It's a massive map, or even just the Stargate Open in general. Just massive map. Anything to keep scouting and just keep some map control. And you can kind of do as you wish beyond this. Twilight Council, I think, is absolutely fine, of course. So no real surprise on that just yet. Well, Adepts do fire away, and we do get a little bit of damage dealt. Doing pretty decently for the moment as the lings come back around and be making their way toward the center. Well, I finished and the forge starts. Are we just going to see Blink? I mean, it's a big map, so having Blink is very valuable because you can really poke around and, again, utilize the mobility of those stalkers in a pretty big way. So, generally, that's a pretty decent thing to do as our Phoenix lifts up the Queen. The Oracle's come around, 3 drones already being dropped, and now heading the Oracles into the main base, where they're going to go after a few more of these drones. 4, 5, 6. Nicely done, as that Phoenix will go after the Overlord again for just a few more moments. The Adepts are going to get surrounded by the Zerglings. Six drones dying, though. I mean, definitely slows Dark down, puts herO into a much stronger position than what he was originally looking to be in, because, again, big map. Gotta be scared of the big map as a Protoss player playing against a Zerg that just, you know, especially one that's as good as Dark. Gotta be really careful on that, because this game can get out of control very easily if the Zerg, you know, goes unchecked and doesn't get punished along the way, and, you know, in terms of them getting set up and everything. Steps move through, and 3 drones already going down. So 3 workers getting picked up. The Lings are going to come around from a couple different sides, going to wrap around these Adepts, and we'll see the Adepts just get nuked for the moment. Oracle's activating, chasing the Lings down there. The Adepts just continue back over the other side as well, so far so good. We do have our +1 attack halfway through. The Blink is on the way up. And Blink, +1, all of that coming up. The Roach is still producing. The +1 missile upgrade is producing. Oracles are also still coming into play here. Let's drop a little Revelation down, and the Lings will take a bit of a beating. Robo Bay, Robo Facility. Obviously, herO looking for further tech. He knows he can't do too much with the Blink Stalkers. Again, the Blink Stalkers are nice because the map is big, but they also can't do too much because the map is big. So, keeping that tech rolling along, and Dark is going to drop Infestation Pit and the Nidus Network. He wants to say, I'm going to shorten the map a lot. By going into that Nidus network, he can go into the Swarm host and really move them around anywhere he wants to. If that's his plan off the Infestation Pit, it looks as though he does not go for it because he drops the Hydra Den and the Hive. So maybe we just do something else with the Nidus initially. Maybe... Oh, did he just cancel the Nidus completely? He just canceled the Nidus, right? So he decides against it and decides to go Hydra Den instead. Maybe something he saw out of herO that he doesn't like the look of, or doesn't like the matchup going into that. So yeah, decides to just switch into Hydra Den and the Hive and go for a completely different approach, which is probably straight toward these lurkers, and trying to utilize that as his way to carve an advantage here in game number 4 of these playoffs, of the semi-finals of the Korean Royale. Kind of crazy how these just honestly kind of crept up on us a little bit. Nexus goes down on the front here again. That 4th base started. We will see the Stalkers pressing through. A couple creep tumors down already. The Stalkers will blink away from the Lings there. It's just getting out of reach, getting out of trouble. Yeah, a couple Colossi, a few Stalkers all being brought into play. The Lurker Den's still about halfway done. The Hive is still about to finish. And a couple of Adepts come through. I'm going to get rid of a couple more drones. 2, 3 more drones going down. Stalker in the center still trying to figure out what they want to do here. Things run in, just going to see our Stalkers really in full retreat mode at the moment, and another couple corrosive biles. Prism going to have to stay away for just a little bit, just try and stay out of reach. More of our Lings looking to try and wrap around, a couple more corrosive biles coming in. With the Colossi here, you've got that splash damage to help out, but we are edging towards Lurkers, and the moment Lurkers are out, the Stalker Force is going to be that much less effective. Can herO do something to break through Dark before those Lurkers are ready? The TLDR is go right now. We'll probably face a tough time. Vipers are ready too. Oh, he missed the first Colossus, so a Stalker gets abducted instead of a Colossus. Now Stalkers blink forward, but now the Lurkers burrow up, and that's where the Stalkers will not do as well. Is it enough here for herO? As he continues through, the Lurker fire is really starting to add up. The Stalkers have to be careful. They have to start backing away. And this fight is still, for the moment, going to keep on going. Army is going to work its way down to the south side, aiming for this base. As now we turn back around, another Colossus goes down. Stalkers and the Colossi working through here. Going to get another Roach. The Hatchery going to be in trouble. A lot more of these Roaches going to be in trouble as they start taking more of a beating as well. Colossi turning back around. Stalker's going to blink forward. Roach Ravager being picked away at here. Just doing a fantastic job of it for the moment. It does really feel as though we have just got herO with a little bit too much for Dark to fight again, especially with some Disruptors now. That said, it's only one Colossus. The Disruptors are now on cooldown. With proper Viper abducts, maybe you can just nullify anything that's too scary, and then it's just sort of Stalkers, and then maybe it's not scary at all. There's one Disruptor. There's a Colossus. Okay, maybe it's not too much for Dark, and like I say, those last couple of abducts really kind of changed the setting. With the splash damage now completely eliminated. A very different approach here, as we do have our Disruptor shot. Has to do big things, but the Roaches get rid of it. Yeah, brave, secure, confident play from Dark to get rid of that Disruptor here. And herO's going to be forced back, and this game will proceed. Now, herO still has a 10-worker lead. herO still has 4 bases to 4 bases. herO, in all accounts, is ahead still, right? The only problem is potentially the tech that we're seeing. Obviously, Lurkers, like I said before, herO didn't have a great answer to them, although with, you know, the Disruptor count getting up there again, you have a better way to deal with Lurkers than you did earlier. So that's a positive at least. I mean, game just goes on. Fun game, fun situation. And our semi-final will not wrap up just yet. These two are going to make sure we have a hell of a time in this map number 4. Stalkers continue to move around. We do see a couple of Lurkers just burrowing up and keeping some of these Stalkers at bay the best we possibly can do so. Getting that fleet beacon on the way out as well. And 2 more Stargates, so we're going to start actually taking this into a little bit of a longer setup game. Right now, herO's really looking to the future where he's like, okay, Stargates, carriers, late game Protoss units that can really survive a good amount of time here, that can really see a much later stage of this game. That's what he's aiming for right now. That's what he's currently aiming at. Let's see if he can get there, as we do see the couple of carriers being brought into play. Now it's just kind of a case of keeping Dark busy while he gets up to a good carrier count. And then it's kind of on Dark to make the next tech up to start dealing with that, especially potentially just seeing, you know, a much later game situation breaking out in general. More carriers coming up. The Temple Archives is about to finish. A few more cannons are producing on the side of herO as well. You have Observer Speed coming up. +2 attack upgrade coming in. Prism was trying to make its way in, but not going to do too much. Parasitic Bomb on it is just some guaranteed damage. Got the Nidus Network finished, and I think that's what this Overseer is perhaps trying to find a chance to utilize. But it gets turned away, not just by the Stalkers, but now by the carriers too. Spores up at the front. And Roach is just setting out, playing defense over here. Been pretty reasonable so far. Let's continue to move around up the top side. You can see how Roach is coming through, and the Stalkers get pushed back pretty much straight away there, so going to end up being chased away. You have that Storm still about halfway done at the moment, +3 attack. Also producing, and again the Nidus just, the Prism, sorry, just getting pushed back. Down through the center, bottom right, a group of units trying to find something as well. All these carriers making their way down the right side, so away we go. It's a lot of disruptors, man. Carriers, High Templar, the army of heroes looking pretty darn good, maxed out now. What does Dark have? You know, we're talking about 2 Vipers, a few Infestors are about to finish building. It doesn't really, to me, seem comparable to what herO is showing up with here. First Disruptors are going to go and kill a couple of Lurkers, so a decent start as well. The biggest threat to you right now probably is those Lurkers we blink through looking for the Vipers. Bit of a suicide mission from the Stalkers. What a way to lose a chunk of supply. herO, I have no idea what initiated that. I don't think the Vipers... Are the Vipers so much of a threat that removing them just, like, is, like, that good? Because to be able to justify that, you're basically saying, hey, if I kill these Vipers, my army's unkillable. And I don't think that's true. I don't think the Vipers provided that much value. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to not be losing your Disruptors, but, like I say, unkillable? Like, he just gave up so much to try and stop them. That didn't really make sense to me. Not really a big fan of that, if I'm going to be quite honest with you guys. That was a shocking play, to be quite frank. 2 more Disruptor shots as the carriers come in. Spores taken down. We've got ourselves the Interceptors continuing to work their way through and doing a decent job of it so far. A couple more Interceptors coming in, and just seeing our Archons making their way back around on the other side as well. So we continue through with all of this. Archon, Stalkers, Disruptors all pressing forward as well. Big Disruptor shots going off all over the place. A couple of probes already getting picked, and the carriers will continue to kind of move on through. Parasitic Bomb is active on them. I mean, the carriers are the one thing that I think are kind of unkillable here because, well, there's not really a good anti-carrier force. But like I said, you know, it wasn't necessarily the carriers. I don't think the couple of Vipers being alive would have stopped the carriers. That was my whole point, right? Like, does this army become unkillable because there's no Vipers? It might be harder to kill, but I still don't agree with all the Stalkers that got thrown away. Might not even matter. Like I say, these carriers are just having a great time right now. A lot of Hydras just got made. Can these carriers take on Hydras on their own? Probably not, because there is Infestor Queen support. So, I mean, we're talking about potential Microbial Shroud even being useful in this scenario, as DTs are going to get killed off. Zealots and DTs are going to run in. And those Lurkers get knocked down. I'm just going to be seeing a couple more Archons. A few more carriers still being brought on through. Lurkers coming in, Spines firing up, the Zealots having to dodge away, just seeing the Shadow Stride finishing up shortly. Our carriers are going to continue to push down the bottom as we do drop a Fungal Growth in. Infestor taking a little bit of damage, so the Lurkers getting picked off. We will see the Hydras getting chased away. Fungals again dropping onto those Interceptors. The triple Obs Fungal! That's one way to get rid of a bunch of Observers, isn't it? Just Fungal Growth them all. Get rid of them. Yeah, very nice. That's yeah, worth getting rid of, obviously, especially when herO is trying to work his way through freaking lurkers and just burrowed units in general. It's nice to be able to stop that to some extent. Another ship is here, carriers are all set up underneath it, and hero's gonna go pressing forward once again. It's like, honestly, like, it's becoming a better army for Dark. Like, at first I didn't think it had much of a chance against carriers. Now I can kind of believe it. Microbial Shroud pretty much has to be used, I'm pretty sure. The thing is, there's nothing to punish Microbial Shroud. The storms can't get close enough because of the lurkers, so you can't just storm on that location where the Hydras are all stacked up. So that's step number one to seeing success here for Dark, as we're going to knock down this watchtower. I don't hate this for herO. Is he going to try and take the gold base himself, though? I mean, if he holds enough... So here's the thing. Dark's obviously held at 4 bases. herO has complete map control of this army because Dark kind of needs to fight with creep spread. So herO probably can just set up this base, and he's going to set up batteries and cannons nearby as well, just as a forward aggressive position. I think it's going to start working out for herO, as you can see Dark is just unable to really do anything to push into this army. He kind of needs herO to attack into him. And that's kind of Dark's issue anyway, never mind the fact that herO is benefiting from this. And now taking the gold base just to push the, push things even further in his favor. A couple of disruptor shots and a couple spores go down. We come in with the observers here. We do have the interceptors putting some good work in. A couple of those spores going down. Another few storms. And there are a bunch of interceptors that need to be careful right now. They were kind of getting stormed. Microbial Shroud's putting in work as the fungal growth catches some interceptors too. Dark is out of money, by the way. So he's not going to be able to rebuild much after this, and obviously herO just seems to have an endless stream of cash with the way that this game is currently set up to go. Yeah, I guess Dark gets the 9 o'clock base up, so that's a big benefit, because otherwise he was really going to start running out of money sooner rather than later, but I'm not even sure that makes enough of a difference here, as we do grab those 2 disruptors at least, so hey, Dark's finding some value. It's not like, all of this is going for nothing. Some value being found. As again, I feel like we storm our own interceptors more than anything else there. Gotta be a bit careful about that. Not that herO really has issues. If he needs to just rebuild all the interceptors, he can absolutely afford to do so. That really is not a problem. Six additional infestors on the way in. 4 Hydras, a couple of Spines, a handful of Zerglings. This one DT is going to swipe his way through this Spore Crawler, and he doesn't get it. Oh my god, how? I guess I'm going to recall everything over here, which is obviously a pretty hefty play. I'll tell you what, obviously now the Lurkers have to reposition. This time it means the High Templars are already in position. Beforehand, the High Templar had to kind of push into Lurkers to be able to get on top of anything with Storms. Now that's not the case. It's just a game-winning move. GG's. herO is going to take us to a Game 5. In the bottom right corner, our red Protoss player from Dragon Kaizi. Make some Twitch chat noise for herO. And in the top left-hand corner of the map, get your Zerg Cabal memes ready if you're cheering on Dark. Alright, big final game, like I say, sets the tone for our finals tomorrow, where I'd definitely say on the bottom side of the bracket, by the way, we've got Terrans being the favorite, Maru, and if anyone takes down Maru, I'd say maybe Bjorn is somewhat of a favorite to do that out of everyone else on that side. Obviously, Scarlet, Classic, and Creator will also be fighting tomorrow, so it's not a guaranteed Terran in the finals, it's just the favorites are Terran, so we'll see. Obviously tomorrow how it plays out, but the winner of this will be playing the winner of that half the bracket around this time tomorrow. So do, again, come back and check that out. It's always appreciated. Oh. StarCraft, huh? StarCraft. It's been great today. We had some faster series, sure, but the longer series have been very good. Very, very good. Very enjoyable. This obviously being one of those. Hatch, gas, pool, all getting set up here. Just going to be seeing the probe wandering around a little bit. Link speed on the way up, and we do see a couple of queens and a few lings. Nothing really too wild. Dark sometimes does proxy hatch on this map, but not going to bring it out here. So that's one thing we don't have to worry about if your name is herO. Which is nice. I mean, obviously those are the kind of games that can really go this, that, or any which way, right? So it's always good to not have to play against. As I'll tell you what though, Dark making 6 more lings. That's the first adept already here, and wants to make sure you can start clearing this up as the first ling goes down. So yeah, adept causing some chaos and not allowing this low ground hatchery, this natural location, to be taken. There's a hatch on the forward base though from Dark, so he is going to take the forward hatchery. That gives him access to a rich Vespene geyser, so there is a benefit to it. Obviously you can be quite aggressive off that base and push across the map very quickly with reinforcements that spawn there. But you also have to respect the fact that this base is, you know, it works the other way too. The Broadest player gets a chance to be aggressive. They can also use it in their favor. And it's also going to be easier for them to attack into, and especially to flank into. There's a lot of flanking positions on that location that could come into effect again a bit further down the line, so things to watch out for there. There's our couple of adepts. Move over to the right. Hatchery coming up. A few drones, a couple queens. Everything being set up for the moment as our spores come online as well. Just see our Oracle zapping and dapping down. A spore crawler to begin with, going to go after a couple of drones. Oracle takes a lot of damage though, so that's going to be hurting quite a bit here. So 2 drones going down. The queens, the extra drones all being brought up at the moment, and just seeing Oracle coming back around the right side. One Oracle goes up the left. And yo, Major D206, thank you so much for the 14-month resub on the Prime. Much appreciated. Thanks for priming us up today. You guys have a Prime sub available. Use it on the channel. Help us to run more of these tournaments. If you do, I will label you a literal esport hero. I mean, who doesn't want that, right, guys? Right, guys? Exactly. Exactly. Okay, a few lings work their way through. Excuse me. A few lings work their way through the rocks, and we do see the initial tech of herO being 3 oracles straight into that Twilight Council. We'll see what he follows up with on the Twilight, but obviously very likely this is just Blink, Forge to follow. Queen's already putting some decent damage out just to push the Adepts away over to the side. One Queen here putting some damage on that Oracle as well, pushing it around a little bit too. And let's see what the Oracle's going to do. I mean, the first one took a lot of damage initially, but now we come in for 3 more drones, and we only lose a bit of shield, so this is working. There is the Blink, there are the extra gates, but again, no Forge, no upgrade just yet from herO. That I find intriguing, as just means sets him up to just be a little bit more aggressive here in this. Things will work through and finish off this set of rocks on the left side. Oracle's activating, just going to come through and just going to get rid of this hatchery. Hatch would really like to just go down again, which it does layer again about halfway along for the moment, and we got stasis in the main base, which catches a single drone. Again, nothing really too spectacular on that. That Blink's still just about halfway through. The Forge and the Gateway all coming up. Our Stalkers and Adepts deal with the Ling that was trying to run in off the right-hand side. herO has an army supply lead right now. I tell you what, Dark's supply is not pretty. 7 drones, 6 lings lost, and all he's done is get a cancel on one of herO's structures this game, a pylon or so, and that's really about it. Like, an initial blocking pylon got cancelled, and yeah, herO going after an Overlord to start. Now, Dark is not close to being supply blocked. There's a lot of units from herO. Fortunately, Dark has a lot more reinforcements on the way. herO still on that phase of, well, he just lost a couple of Adepts. It's the first units he's losing. He's going to get rid of a couple of drones. Going to try and stasis up in the main as well. Looks like Dark is just about able to react to that in time, so you can minimize the effect of that stasis ward. Oracle comes around the back and is just going to sit here chilling. Another Oracle stasis going down, and that's just going to be, again, keeping those drones a little bit busy at the moment. I mean, stopping a fair amount of mining, right? You force multiple pullaways from this main base, so I'd say that's pretty substantial. You know, definitely adds up. Charge, roach speed, all of this being brought in. 5 more drones on the way here as well. Oracles get through for a Ravager's. Just going to nab that, and a little Revelation going down. We pull the Oracles over the right-hand side, and we'll drop a Nexus in as well, just for good measure. I think it's going to come moving up in the Ravages. Again, just going to have to be a bit careful. Oracle's moving over to the left side for a little bit, and staying out of trouble. A few more corrosive vials coming in. Trying to land. Stalker's not really allowing it. herO just going to keep going. Charge coming up. Extra gateways being produced. Still just rocking with kind of pretty much pure gateway with Twilight upgrades. No Robo even in this game, so you don't even have Observers or Prism to reinforce with. It's just herO really trying to keep the pressure going while expanding quickly behind it. That's that kind of classic herO style. Hey, Pilot, great. Thank you so much for being a Prime subscriber today. Thanks for using your Prime on the channel. Here in the semifinals of the WardiTV Korean Royale, herO and Dark going all the way in this semifinal, giving it their all, trying to win this out. herO's opening up the map a little bit, knocking these rocks down gives you much easier access up this right side, a much clearer pathway to just keep pushing into the Zerg's half of the map. Roaches will come forward and fight you. Obviously, the power of the Blink Stalkers, you don't have to take a fight you don't think is good for you, so we just back away from that immediately. No concerns. And again, a couple Evo chambers, a few drones, all continuing out. We do see the Stalkers blinking back away from the Roach Ravager there. And again, a couple of Evo chambers still coming up. burO, Tunneling Claws coming through. Our Zealots want to run in from the right-hand side, but they will not do anything too crazy. And our burrow movement is actually coming up, so Dark really looking to utilize these burrowed roaches on harassment a little bit. Oracles activating, are trying to get rid of the Queen. Robo's still coming now. We do see actually the Zealots getting a bit of a surround here. Massive fight in from herO as he commits through. Gets up the right side and the bottom side, so he's able to kind of engage from 2 angles, which gives him the good fight and the good wraparound to start. It's a lot of Roach Ravager, though. Now Zealots are being chased away. Extra couple of Immortals still coming out, plus 2 missiles about to complete. Stalker's trying to get up this ramp again, going to blink forward again with the Zealots getting in front. These Stalkers will survive a long time, and that's where the value of this army comes from herO. Behind this, he's starting to attack that a little further, getting the Immortals out, help him against the further Roaches that are still being built at the moment. 7, 8 drones already going down, and, well, I mean, not a bad attack in. herO has the economy to rebuild off of this, right? That's the power of his eco right now. As more Immortals come up, again, he's trying to make sure he has a solid army to come on through. Roaches, Ravagers, just going to chase down here. We do have a couple of Immortals that are going to punch through a few of these Roaches as well. Throws a Valve. Our Stalker's just going to go blinking across. We pull back a little bit. Blings. A few of them trying to run on in here. A few Zealots around the right side as well, trying to also find their way forward. The Roaches are going to burrow through, and herO, he doesn't actually have... Oh no, he's going to lose 2 Immortals pretty much immediately. His detection is the Oracles and Revelation. He blinks for the Ravager's Mine, and he does still have 2 Immortals on the right side. Files will coat a few of those Stalkers. herO will now back it up, but losing 2 Immortals already is pretty darn rough. Thanks to Ravagers morph in. Our 2-2 missile upgrades continuing in. Our drones producing on the side of Dark. Extra drones all coming through as we do see the Oracle, the Stalkers, the Zealots are back from the right-hand side. Well, they're going to see Zealots charging through. They're going to grab a Roach. A bit of Roach Ravager coming in from Dark as well. There's some Valves dropping in, and actually is going to keep on chasing. Dark's army is actually being pushed back quite heavily. Love the cannons. You need to be able to defend against these burrowed Roaches. You don't want to let those just run around your bases silly. especially if you can minimize your kind of attention paid to them. It allows you to do much more with the main army. As once again, well, this is awkward. These Immortals are very far forward, and the drone pull is going to get rid of one of them. Crows of Baals will crash on the other. The barrier going down. A couple of roaches are still harassing, really aren't finding all that much, however. They're not having the best of times right now as our Zealots and the Immortal continue to try and fight. Stalkers from the right side doing what they can. A Disruptor will land for a Ravager. Here with 79 workers, again, just allowing him to just mine, you know, a lot more throughout this game, which allows him to trade as he's trading, which is slightly efficient against the Zerg. And that's all it needs to be if you're mining this much more. So it is going very well for herO. It's seeming like he might have been able to complete the reverse sweep here if he can keep this up. But we're not done yet. Never call a StarCraft game over, especially not when Dark's involved, because Dark is very good at slipping out of trouble when it seems like he's in a lot of it. So, like I say, definitely don't count him out yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I like what herO's been doing, and I think one of the main things is that herO's been hitting a good rate of teching up. You know, he had Immortals at kind of the right time as the Roach Ravager became maybe a bit too much for just pure gateway. He's now hitting Archons and Disruptors now as well, so he's just continuing to get the tech behind all of this aggression. And that's what's so frustrating to play against, because Dark, you know, you're busy trying to survive, and meanwhile the Protoss army's getting that much better. Suddenly there's 5 Disruptors here. You know, like, is that fair? Hello? There's actually 6 Disruptors here, if I learn to camp properly. He's, oh my god, gonna get one massive shot off on the Ravagers, and that's gonna give you a little bit of momentum in, as herO does have a counterattack on his front doorstep to go and deal with, but not sure that's gonna matter, as he's gonna get rid of this base over here. He will recall home. Okay. Well, Roach is actually going to move up in toward the main base. Didn't think they were going to get into the main, but I guess herO does pull back. Oh, he turns around. He kind of needs detection at the moment. Did he ever build an observer? He has 1 obs in the game. I was just asking because obviously he had no robo for a long time, and initially he didn't have an obs. These roaches just being a little bit annoying that 1 observer is over in that base, so it is causing some complications here. And just seeing the Disruptors continuing to work through with this army. I mean, Dark's burrow and counterattack is more or less bought him time to stay alive and to stay in the game. Without that, this might have already been done on the other side. Of course, you could argue that part of the reason Dark was, you know, not ready on the other side of the map is because he had a lot of units counterattacking as well. I don't know if his extra roaches at home would have made the difference against all those Disruptors and all the tech that was in place. So Dark is going to play the runaround game, try and buy time, try and keep himself alive and in this for as long as possible. Doing everything he can right now as roaches, the Ravagers just keep on coming through. The Stalkers just continue to fight back. A couple of roaches over in the corner getting picked away at. Kind of feels as though this is just going to be a lot of Dark going down. He's losing units all over the place at the moment. That's not exactly going to help. As you see, the roaches, the Ravagers coming through. It really feels as though this is getting to a point of perhaps no return. GG's. herO is going to clean it out. He's going to complete the reverse sweep. And that, my friends, is going to do it. GG's. herO 3-2 goes to the grand finals. I mean, it was a kind of a wild final game with all of the action, the complete